We're so excited to welcome Ira Pope Sage, a renowned hairstylist and educator with over 20 years of experience. He was formerly a global educator with Paul Mitchell and developed the clock cutting method to simplify hair cutting. Awarded Independent Educator of the Year in 2023, Ira focuses on technical excellence, mindset, and personal growth. Through workshops, collaborations, educating in salons, and one-on-ones, he continues to inspire stylists worldwide. Welcome, Ira. We are so grateful to have you here.
Welcome, trendsetters. We are Alicia and Nicole from Positive Image. As salon owners, hairstylists, and business coaches, we're here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the beauty industry and discover the secrets to creating a thriving salon business. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up in your salon chair, and let's dive into the world of hair, style, and entrepreneurship together.
Today, we have a very special guest, Ira Pope Sage, who both Nicole and I had the pleasure of meeting in August 2024. Came out to my salon in Toronto, and we had him for 2 great days. When it comes to educators, there's plenty to choose from. And I think it's really neat to see independent educators coming up. But even more so, I think a common thread is a lot of hairdressers are a bit more about themselves, where it was really lovely to meet Ira in person and realize how down to earth and just passionate about hair and people he is. So we're really excited to welcome you and share all your knowledge and experience in the industry with over 20 years of experience educating and teaching upcoming hairdressers and experienced hairdressers. So welcome, Ira. Hi.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you both for having me.
Great to have you here. I'm going to start out just asking you, your journey in the hair industry has been absolutely incredible. What mindset shifts helped you evolve from stylist to educator within this industry?
I guess mindset shifts were to really really focus on discipline in a lot of manners, and discipline in all areas of my life, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, to really try to shift my mind to the most optimistic, positive, grateful mindset that I could be, because I find that I attract more through that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I feel like Nicole's smiling. You can see her. For those listening, Nicole's huge about mindset, so I think that just made everything inside Nicole get really excited to hear that. That's beautiful. I think that's exactly what you showed us too when you were here, just how passionate but also compassionate you are.
And I have a lot of experience with some of the mindset that's a lot of students or a lot of upcoming hairdressers can have. I had imposter syndrome before I knew imposter syndrome existed, and there were music festivals that eliminated that, and all the anxieties and all the fears and the ADHD and all the different things that can definitely clutter the brain that I've in my last, I guess, as I just turned 49 a week ago, in the last 7 to 9 years, I've really gone through and tried to delete some of my old apps and install new, much more healthy apps in my life.
I love that perspective too, of just like the evolution of where we go. And it's not like you just wake up one day and you're there. But I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of discipline, a lot of practice again.
Yeah. We never stop learning. We never stop growing. It's kind of just like constantly going. Yeah, I think that's really important for us to remember.
I'm very influenced by so many different things. So electricity definitely inspired me to realize that an electric bolt goes left and right because it finds the path of the least amount of resistance. And that's what I really am aiming for in my life right now, is the path of least amount of resistance. And the first thing to do that is in your own mind. You have to no longer resist. You have to resist some of the temptations. You got to resist some of the lazinesses. You got to resist some of the maybe negative thoughts that commonly can go through some people's minds. So there's if you can be in the path of the least amount of resistance inside your brain, that can come reality out in the actual real existence of the world, sharing with others.
I love that because not a lot of people and in our industry actually have these conversations. Like we don't talk about energy, we don't talk about frequency, we don't talk about how to get to A to B in such a graceful and calm mindset. It's always about the hustle. It's always about making the
Mhm.
money. And it is so refreshing. I just even know being in the room with you, Ira, when last year of just being with somebody who you could just feel as grounded and knows themselves and doesn't really matter what other people think because you're a rock star with what you do. And it is just inspiring as a hairstylist and with Alicia and I going on this journey together to have somebody who's just like beating to their own drum and just enjoying the dance as they do it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm very comfortable with my drum and my dance for sure. Unfortunately, others have been good with it. As I'm not trying to flex on anyone. And if I am trying to flex, it's a flex of loving myself along with loving everything and everyone around me. So it's definitely a very yeah, non-ocean, non-river type of water, very pool. Come on in. I accept and love all kinds. Don't push you away.
So what was the catalyst with that? Like did you have a pivotal moment where you felt like I need to change or I need to get into a certain mindset in order to be the person who I need to be?
I guess it the biggest thing for me in that direction was again having the imposter syndrome and having I was a major shaker. I would shake a lot on stage. And it was kind of a part of it became like a part of a story to kind of melt ice with the people in the audience. To be like, okay, if any of you were like this kid on stage, would you be shaking too? So it became like an alliance and made it easier and accepting. I wasn't just a fancy platform artist guy. But then I had over time I experienced being in the audience and I saw someone shaking on stage and I felt discomfort for that person and the model and the audience. And so then I had a perspective that I realized, okay, if I'm shaking on stage, I might be making someone in the audience feel uncomfortable for me and my model and other people's in the audience. And that's the last energy or thought I want to have portrayed. So I had to get past my shaking. So it was, focusing on not on others anymore. It was focusing on what I was doing, the value that I had to offer. And again, as music festivals, I mentioned, was kind of letting go of the way things have been to the way things I do it, kind of things. Where like a music festival, it might be a big, large band headliner that got you to the music festival, but it might be that very tiny font band that's playing at 1:30 Sunday afternoon that made you realize this is why I needed to be here. This was the frequency, this was the energy, this was the perspective that I needed to leave this festival feeling full and ready to take on a new perspective, a new app in my brain, and a new way of looking at things. And so it was an evolution of myself. I just wanted to make sure when I first started, I was allowed basically by my boss, Robert Cromings, to be a visual artist. So all I had to do, my responsibilities were to look cool doing cool hair. And that was great for a young kid that I was, but over time that pool wasn't deep enough for me. I'm a Pisces, so I'm fishy, I need to swim and I need some depth. And so I needed to be able to connect with people's minds and hearts more than just their sensories of their eyes, I guess. I wanted to go a little deeper than just the eye sensory. Yeah, that's where it all came from.
I think that's great too, like just to realize like we do start things out being all like, "Oh my gosh, what how did I get here? What's happening?"
Hmm.
And I also think that like young hairdressers are like, "Yeah, I just want to be cool." But sooner or later you're like, "Okay, now I need more. Like I did the cool thing.
Yeah, I think so.
There has to be more."
Yeah, I think we evolve. Once you get that cup, that cool cup filled, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, now I want to taste the next cup. And I want to taste depth. And I want to taste, say, moving from my earlier times too, being more of like a platform artist guy to being more of a proper educator.
Yeah.
Platform artist is kind of like motivational, inspiring a little bit maybe, but educator like that, people can really take it with them and utilize that. It's a very, very different thing to offer, I feel at least. And I'm very proud of being a proper educator these days.
Yeah. Awesome. So where do you see the educator platform going in the future?
I think we're getting tastes of what the future will be like a little bit right now, as per the variety of in-person education to the variety of subscription-based education to online education. I think we'll see more technology coming into play with perhaps education into like metaverses or things of that manner that could be, yeah, in a whole different plane of education.
Yeah.
So I think there's cool futures as far as in what we can see with the future of education for sure. I don't see it being as kind of and also just see more like intimacy in
Hmm.
education as per like smaller groups. I do a lot of one-on-ones and one-on-twos, and I've seen great success with that and been able to create great bonds with people through that, and be able to have a little bit even more of a further along shift in just a one-day process
Yeah.
because of the fact of being able to really just focus exclusively on that 1 to 2 people, where I think in yesterday's classes, they're always like larger form as far as in a decent amount of people in the class. And it's not as easy to really focus on an individual person in a large group class.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, just touching on that point of whether it's digital or more intimate. Just I think we continue to talk about this more and more, just how much varying levels of neurodivergent or introverted
Hmm.
hairdressers actually are. And
Hmm.
so that is way more comfortable to be in that kind of space. And instead of the overwhelm of one trying to be excited to learn something new in a big crowd, but also being like, I'm in a big crowd.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
trying to balance that. So it's really interesting to think about that we are as an industry evolving in general, but we're also evolving the way that we get taught further education as well.
Yeah, and I think in it becomes closer because say like even coming up to Toronto to a Queen's shop there,
Mhm.
it's still in the past, like any of the education I do were just with a big brand and in a big giant conference room with hundreds of people, and there's so much distance between me up on a stage and people out in the audience, even in a hands-on class. So there'd
Yeah.
be like me on the stage and then like 7 to 10 assistants helping teach on the floor. So it's such a it gets the job done, but it's kind of like a just gets the job done. It's not really loving. It's much more like
Right.
eat this and accept it, and hopefully you can find your love for it later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
this classes like we do with your place, things of that manner, it's much more. We're on the same ground, we're on the same floor. It's more eye to eye, so there is much more like connection, I think, and that connection is huge these days.
And what would you say you love most about educating?
I love that I can help to influence mindsets. I love that I can share my discipline and my actions that I've taken in my life and be able to show in some situations concrete. I think I showed you guys how I manifested my dog and my girlfriend. And I have, the fact that I have visual photos to literally show the picture of that dog in 2015, I took a screenshot of, and then the picture of my now current dog Louie in 2017, and how it's so many parts of everything that I manifested and asked the universe for. And I love that in a day's worth of time, they can see someone that maybe they have known for a while, or maybe they just recently came into from Instagram or social media, and realize that someone that might have a decent following social media can still be a very decent regular human being, and if any way be um, unusual or more than normal. Hopefully, it's through love and understanding and patience, as opposed to being like ego filled. So to see the happiness and to see the light bulbs come off, which is very cliche to say, but specifically like with my method, my clock cutting method, it it allows colorists, it allows assistants, it allows people that even haven't cut hair to feel like they can cut hair. I had my own hair care line for about 7 years, and I would go to distributor meetings and sales meetings, and I would talk to sales reps, and I would talk about our education, and our education was my clock cutting method. And once I got done explaining it to them, here are these people that have never held a pair of scissors in their hands their whole life. They mentally thought that they could cut hair. And we have students that go through cosmetology school, leaving cosmetology school, not feeling like they can cut hair, and they just spent 6 months to a year and a half on it. And I think the mindset of if you feel you can cut hair, the sooner you're going to be able to cut hair. The more you feel like you can't cut hair, the longer it's going to take until you can comfortably cut hair. So seeing the light bulb go off and seeing confidence and seeing that they can literally see the path of how to create the shape, pull it back to 6 to make it longer at 12. Simple things like that. Pull it up to the top to make it longer to the bottom. Simple things like that. I love seeing the head nods and the smiles and the happiness that comes across the students.
I think that's exactly why we do anything, right? It's just that
It's so
instant
filling.
visual gratification that someone's getting what you're saying or they're liking what you're doing, and it's hitting home and feeling good. Can we ask, how did you develop your if I can speak, clock
No,
cutting method?
Yep.
And what can other hairstylists learn from your creative process?
I developed it through time. It was I was influenced by a former colleague, Stephanie Kochowski. She was doing a color pattern, and this was whilst I was, again, just a visual artist. So I didn't really need to communicate a whole lot. I just looked cool doing cool hair. And she was doing a color pattern called Rings of the Tree. And she would say to the audience, think of the front, think of the center of the face, the nose as 12 o'clock, the right ear is 3 o'clock, the back vertebrae is 6 o'clock, and the left ear is 9 o'clock. And as you're doing right now, I'm able to see you nodding in your head. I always felt that that was a good indicator that what I was saying was making sense and it was translating to the people's minds. So I then would describe a haircut that I was doing back then. So often we overdirect haircuts back. This haircut was cut straight at every hour that it existed at. So there's no overdirection back and or forward. So it created a nice round shape. And besides the shape, people nod their heads a lot. And that made me realize, okay, this is something healthy, something good. And so I just leaned into that, and where I took the generic kind of horizontal perspective of a clock and I made it into the primary hours and secondary hours. And then I went through and utilized even the vertical dimension and made it into time of day. So I did all that knowing that the more sensories you touch when you teach, the more opportunity you have for the people to learn and then possibly retain it and exercise it later. So I wanted visuals to make it very simple. I wanted to be able to communicate in ways that weren't the traditional haircutter ways. And yeah, I'm a big lover of time, and clocks are what we use to measure time. So, as I mentioned with you before, I feel that breath is the most important thing that we have as humans. Time is the second most important thing we have as humans, and it offers so many things long before money's involved, such as dance, loving, laughing, so many things. So, I really wanted to kind of, when it comes down to it, really, again, kind of install my perspectives through cutting hair to kind of silently put a thought in people's heads of hopefully just light and beauty and innocence and possibility, as opposed to some of the confusing words that can kind of deter people, and maybe big words to make it flex, like I'm so intelligent over you. And I just cut the most suitable haircut for this person, and I'm working the mastoid process using words that sometimes can be just like intimidating, I'm intelligent words. I'm not trying to flex on words. I'm trying to flex on how easy I can make someone understand something. That to me is the biggest gain.
I think that's one of the biggest things that's missing in the education system is like people get up on stage and they have this holier than thou way about them. They're not grounded. They're in their head. They're not in their heart. And if we can find a way to bring the educator on the same platform as the people and the students in the classroom, it just can make a really beautiful synergy where it's a vocabulary transfer, it's an energy transfer, it- it's a circle. Like we can all just feed off
Hmm.
of one another. And I'm sure you learn so much from teaching as your students do from being there with you as well.
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, it's it's a debatable thing, of course, but I believe and I subscribe to the fact that we are all connected to a source. And
Mhm.
so in that, something has, put these things into my brain. Through time, I've, been able to, like a radio, find that frequency and find that channel to listen to these things be told to my brain somehow. And so I'm simply trying to share it with the others as per I've seen it. And fortunately, when we get into a large group, it becomes easier to connect to other people's frequencies, and to other people's little radio channels. So it's nice to, I mean, and that's the one thing that's great about religion. I'm not a big religious person, but that's one of the best things about religion is they get together weekly and their prayer of manifesting things to me is a very positive thing. And it kind of comes down to that truly when it comes down to a haircutting class sometimes, at least one of mine for sure.
So, throughout your years of educating, what would you say the big lessons are that you've learned about training and mentoring hairstylists?
Having patience, being very non-emotionally driven in the sense that non-emotional of any negative emotion, like mega and massive, tremendous amount of positive emotion, but never coming across in any kind of form of negative, never take anything personal, basically. And just knowing that no matter how many times I say it, it might take more times for someone to understand it. So again, having that patience in there, not expecting or just thinking that someone's going to get it right away. It can take some time for people. Everyone's got different thought processes and how they see and hear things.
And I think like one of the ways that I love to just approach life is with neutrality. If everything
Hmm.
is neutral and nothing has emotion attached to it until I give it that emotion, I
Hmm.
kind of approach my mentors the same way that I'm just giving you information and data and that's all I expect from you. Yes, we can love and joy together,
Hmm.
but this progress together is a neutral you can't get it wrong and
Hmm.
let's just experiment.
Yep. It doesn't, the word doesn't exactly fit me, I feel, but grace has been a big word in my brain this year so far. And through my cold showers, I realized, okay, I'm going to focus on grace in 2025 because I just want to even every time I take a cold shower, I want to do it gracefully. I want to do it with ease and confidence and maturity. So I'm practicing that during my cold showers to be able to then deliver that out in the regular everyday life, basically.
So, what words of advice would you give to those looking for the right class?
What? I'm sorry. What was the beginning part? What? Oh, you said a device, baby.
Yes, what words of advice would you give to those looking for the right class?
I would say decide where you're at in your career. Are you in a place that you need to lean in and learn something new, or are you in a place that you need to lean in and master what you've been focusing on, basically? But I personally, I'm an obsessed type of human. I obsess. So I tend to lean in and want to become the best that I can be at that thing until I get bored of it, which my boredom can take a long time before I get bored with something. Because I am just a very obsessed type of human. But yeah, lean into yourself and what feels right. The things that happen and go by very fast, those are things that make you feel good, obviously. The things that takes longer, the things that feels like takes for something that was an hour took like 3 hours, kind of maybe stay away from that stuff. Like I don't do color because I don't receive dopamines. It feels like a very long process to me. And I never feel like, congratulations, Ira, you did a good job. With cutting hair, it goes by very fast. It feels great through the whole process and it feels fulfilling to me at the end of it. I like that process and the process and the end result. Color, I just don't have that same type of feeling. And I've learned that through the 30 years I've been in this game now. And so I lean away from that. I lean away from that and make sure to lean into the things that make me feel awesome.
So today I feel like you've shared some really beautiful things that maybe people haven't really thought about, just being aware of yourself. but also being aware of others
Hmm.
and trying to be well-rounded in sharing what you have to share of like not just looking at, you know, one's body language, but listening to their words or listening to their reactions to things. So I think that gives our listeners lots of really good takeaways.
Awesome.
We're gonna have you back here in October,
Yeah, I can't wait. And with
right?
Junji as well. It's going to be very
Yes,
nice. Yes.
Junji, and 2 days. And you've also done something that you were working on for a while and you're really excited about. You've created your own scissor line.
Yes, I have the Stoke
Uh-huh.
Lords.
Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'm very excited that we got two new things coming for Toronto this year with Junji number one, and he is a former Sassoon director. So he is extremely versed in precision haircutting and all the proper classic ways to really coincide very nice with my very kind of modern, unique, different approach. And then we'll be also coming along with my Stoke Lord scissors. I'm very grateful. I've been working and testing out scissors for about the last 2 years. Finally found a pair that I'm so happy with. They are made of Japanese VG10 steel, so it's a very high quality, second to the top level, high level quality steel. And I found out from someone that I didn't purchase them from, which made me feel a lot more comfortable, that apparently they're the second to the top level of steel, and that they generally price from anywhere from $500 to $700 in that level of steel, where I feel awesome because I'm feeling like I'm a hairdresser offering scissors to hairdressers and barbers, people that cut hair, as opposed to being a scissor brand. I'm a hairdresser to people that cut hair. So I have it priced at $375 on its regular suggested retail rate. And in price or in person prices are even friendlier. So I'm excited to see you guys and give you a more friendly price then, even too. But the cool thing I learned from one of my clients, she told me one morning that cheap is expensive. I had never heard that phrase. And I was like, oh, I agree with you fully. Cheap is expensive. And then right after that, it said it to my brain, cheap is expensive, but quality doesn't have to be. And that's
Yes.
truly where I look at for Stoke Lords as like a catchphrase. Cheap is expensive, but quality doesn't have to be. We've got quality scissors with quality steel, with a very friend to friend price.
Well, I'm excited. I know I got a sneak peek of them
You
last
did.
year and
Uh-huh.
they felt buttery and delicious.
I
The
like that.
words to
Thank you.
describe scissors.
I appreciate that. It's great.
And I think we're excited to have you back. I don't think. I know we're excited to have you back again. Everyone loved the class. So we've already been chatting to some of the people about getting their tickets again for this year. So we're excited to also again have Junji there as well.
Uh-huh.
And to have you back and teach us new things. And again, just share with us more of like we Nicole and I just love the down to earth and like mindset that just makes so much more sense for hairdressers for where the industry in general needs to go. There's so much like weird, emotionally pent up competition that we just neither of us with.
Yeah. Yeah. Same
So
here. I'm definitely more of a collaborator than I am of
yeah,
a competitor, I guess. I'd
yeah.
rather join along and bring along as opposed to push away.
And that's something Alicia and I really, when we first got together, that was one of our kind of things is that collaboration over competition,
Always.
and just holding space for each other to learn and grow. And that's what we also try and do with this podcast is we want to just educate and teach, from me, mindset, Alicia, business stuff, and bring people like yourself who we can just have this incredible conversation and just I don't know. I feel like I am on a high just after listening to you speak for the past 20, 30 minutes. So
Very
thank you.
sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to you both as well. I think podcasts are such great forms of sharing knowledge these days, and giving people an opportunity to be heard. I'm grateful that I get, you know, I know in my life I'm heard more than some people. But in either manner, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity with you both. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how can people find you?
I'm often, no, I'm trying to think of something funny, but they can find me on social medias, I guess.
Sitting by the
At
pool with the pups and the lady.
right. Um, yeah, on social media, I'm more so basically between like Instagram and TikTok, kind of. And in either situation, it is at IRAPOPESAGE, which is my first name, middle name, and last name, Ira Pope Sage.
Awesome. Anything else exciting that we should know about, or what's your like manifestation goals that you're trying to attract more of this year?
Let's see. What
Yeah,
am I trying to
great.
right now? I'm honestly, I'm manifesting a lot of things with cryptocurrency. I'm guilty into that world right now. Um,
Amazing.
I'm manifesting things in that direction. Got a big summer ahead of us, going to all throughout Europe. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hair transplants in
Oh,
July.
cool.
I just got
Fun.
the
In
dates all
Turkey?
sorted literally just this morning. I just put the down payment down last week. Yeah, so when I see you guys,
I,
I will have
it'll
I'll
be
have
all
like,
healed, no?
yeah, I'll be gardened in and I'll have some hair growth by that point.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So beware, I might look a little bit more attractive, but
You're
just
doing great. You're doing great already. But it's nice to have the confidence for sure.
thank you. Thank you. It's important,
Awesome.
I think. Well, I
Yes.
appreciate you both. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
My
And we
pleasure.
will sign off there. Ciao, everyone. And see you next time.
Ciao, ciao,
Bye.
ciao. See you girls.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Take this knowledge and just keep developing yourself. And hey, we want to hear from you too. Join the conversation using our hashtag #PositiveImagePodcast. Share your thoughts, questions, and success stories. Who knows, we might just feature you on an upcoming episode. Don't keep us a secret. Tag your friends too. Want to keep learning? Check out our show notes. Find us on Instagram at hello.positiveimage. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode filled with inspiration and insights.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.